busted. I was sending a message.
Okay.
Hello, my friend. Welcome in. We are doing Unspoken Live. Look, Unspoken Live, real talk with my therapist, AJ Hicks. You are the first therapist that we have on the show.
Where's the confetti? It needs to be confetti. It needs to be, you know, it's on another level now. You got the official therapist on there.
Oh, yeah. So it's on two different levels.
Mm-hmm.
We have a black male therapist. So
Triple
it's
threat.
like a freaking unicorn.
Triple threat.
Ooh. So tell everybody about yourself before I hit you with your question.
I mean, where do I start? Been working in the mental health field for a very long time. Um, I'm just grateful to be able to expound on the experiences that I've learned through life. Um, you know, I'm a I'm a very grounded person. I'm a family man. Grateful. For everything God gives me. If a wife, have children, that I love and appreciate. But every day I realize mental health it's a full time. It's around us in every way. It plays a part in every relationship we have. I mean, I got my associates in business management, my bachelor's in behavioral science, my master's in social work. I passed the LCSWC, which is the clinical version of the social work degree. But when I tell you everything you learn in school, still sometimes you still learn so much from the school of life. Life teaches us so much more about mental health. I'm just grateful that I was actually able to study it, so I can put it in I can put it in the right perspective more. But even other people who haven't studied it, we're constantly dealing with mental health, our own and others, constantly, every single day.
I signed up for this is an 8 hour mental health first aid CP. It's like this long, but it's 2 hours um on your own, and then the other 6 is virtual.
Hmm.
Ooh, we'll see how that goes. But it's
No,
like taking a CPR class, but it's for the mental side of it. So we'll add that to the resume.
yeah. I mean, get as many stripes as you can, as many little badges as you can, but life is still going to challenge you.
We talked earlier about which direction that we were going to go in, but I'm just I'm gonna switch up on you real quick. So going through school, becoming a therapist, not seeing many people who look like you because there are very few black therapists. How was that?
Well, let's just get really down to the core of it. Most times, men, we not really trying to be even dealing with our own emotions, let alone dealing with somebody else's. We got a little bit of grace to deal with the people right around us. So, like, that's what mom or dad, brother, sister, wife, son, daughter, maybe best friend. We got a little bit of grace to deal with that. But most people not trying to deal with their own emotions, unpack their own emotions, especially from our community, let alone deal with somebody else's 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day. So it takes knowing your purpose and understanding where your giftings are and who you are to be able to say, yeah, I don't see anybody that looks like me doing this. People tell me that this is not profitable, but this is the direction God is leading me. I always say I didn't really choose this. It chose me.
Again, I'm still dealing with that myself because yeah, this I didn't see this. I don't think any of us saw what we're supposed to be doing. You still there? Did we both freeze?
And I can hear you and I can see you. I don't know if you can hear me and see me.
Yeah, we froze at the same time, so
Oh,
it's all good.
okay, got you. So,
How long did it take for you to be a therapist? Like
I mean,
6 years or
so like I said, I got my associates, my bachelor's, and my master's, right? And then from the time that I got my master's, being a licensed master's level social worker, you technically, going into places, you're kind of doing sessions with people one on one. But at that level, it's like, I want to say like lower level therapy, but it's still, you can still give people some counseling, some therapy, but it's more like case management than anything. Um,
Mhm.
Once you get more on the clinical side, then you're more, qualified and versed to be able to not only diagnose and like understand what people have because they meet this criteria, but then also give them different treatment modalities of, how can we get you back to a better place or a baseline and, you know, all of that. So it to answer your question, master's level, then another 2 to 3 years of, practicing in the field before getting my LCSWC.
So we're about 8 almost.
Yeah, about maybe 8 years.
Whew.
8 years, 8 years plus, 8 years plus. Because if you working full time and all of that, then that takes a little longer. So yeah, I say 8 years plus.
Okay, so now what you were waiting for. So how do you view mental health through the eyes of a Black man?
I
What
believe
you waiting for it?
I believe that we have a million ways to deal with our mental health because everybody has a perception of how we supposed to deal with our mental health. And let's just be honest, we hang our hat and set our hat on what it is that like the women around us tell us or the men around us tell us that's how we're supposed to handle it. So if we're around men and women that say like, oh, don't show no sign of weakness, that's what we learn. And we're around um, you know, women or whoever that say, show a lot of weakness, that's what we do. So we kind of pivot towards our environment, but our environment, not every black male has the same environment. A lot of the environment we have is, you know, we gotta be the man for our moms, for our sisters, for our aunties, for our grandmas, because it's not too many of us that's around that's healthy. When I say healthy, I mean healthy minded because a lot of us has had traumas that we haven't dealt with because we haven't seen mental health as important as, I mean, we talk about black men not wanting to go to the doctors, right? That's a physical medical doctor. Like your arm is hanging off and you like, I'm good, you know what I mean, I still got another arm. Like we don't even necessarily like to go to the medical doctor. Mental health doctor is a whole nother side. So just think about that. Like we don't, we learned very well how to make it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And just because let me just put this in there, just because you're a therapist doesn't mean you have all the answers and you figured everything out. Because usually, you're figuring your stuff out while you're helping other people figure their stuff out. If that makes sense, you get what I'm saying? So that's a loaded answer. It's a loaded question and a loaded answer. I mean, how much time you got? Like that doesn't that it's not a quick answer. It's like from so many different angles. So yeah, I'll take a break and let you chime in and I'll go some more.
Oh no, you're fine. I've done this where I think I've said maybe 3 minutes worth of something and just which is fine. That's what it's for. I the more I do this, I don't want to say learn behavior, but I'm going with learn behavior for a second. I talked to some who were in a household with the dad not showing emotion. Talked to some who were raised by mom and what was it, aunties or something,
Mhm.
and their view on that was different. You know, they they encouraged it versus the ones that was had the dads in the house growing up saying no. So
So
it's just like,
it can be confusing. I'm gonna tell you why. Because I've seen both sides. So when you around, when you in the house and you have if you're in the house and your father's not a real emotional, showing a bunch of emotion and weakness type stuff, you learn without, if unless you're being walked through it, you learn to like keep it in because I don't want to express it because I don't see dad express it, or if I do express it, that makes me look soft or whatever. But on the other side of the spectrum, if there's no male in the house, period, and you're just around women, you learn to express yourself emotionally how women do. But then the other side of that is like now you're male responding to things and the emotional capacity that a woman does because that's who's role modeled it for you. So the mommies or the aunties that's responded, that's how you learn how to respond. And
mhm,
you learning that, but then if you grow up, people looking at you like you ain't supposed to respond to this like that. You're supposed to have your emotions in check. So I think for a lot of that gap where a lot of maybe males haven't learned, okay, this is how I express it, but still express it the right way. You get what I'm saying? That's, I don't know if that's making more sense. Like that's how, this is the proper way. You understand? This is the proper
yeah.
way to release it.
Well, also they said that when they were acting the way they were raised or they were in school and they showed emotion, they got picked on and beat up and
Because
caused.
when they learn to react, sorry, when they learn to react like the women around them, that's not
Mhm,
respected. That's not respected. You know what I mean? Like, we know naturally how women respond. It's y'all are more nurturers, y'all are more, feeling. You know what I mean?
mhm,
Men are supposed to be a lot more like logical and controlled in their response. So it's like, yeah, they're angry, but should I respond in my anger this way? Yeah, I'm sad, but should I respond to my sadness this way? And so there's nobody really saying this is the right and wrong way to do it. It's just you either learn on your own, you learn from the women around you because the males either weren't there or they didn't break down like emotional intelligence. They didn't break down, how you
mhm.
socially, respond.
That's got to confuse a little fella.
I mean, it is confusing. That's why I'm saying I believe that this is a space where God has me because I can see where I didn't have a lot of things, where I learned things the hard way, even learned things as an adult. And I'm like, okay, this is where I can be a help to so many people. There's a gap here. And this is why a lot of people say they haven't seen a lot of black male therapists. And I'm like, okay, they haven't seen a lot of black male therapists, but here I am. So we can't keep using that excuse.
I I met you at one of the panel when we did a panel. How often do you go out to do your panels?
So when I'm invited out, I go out. I mean, I love what I do.
Mhm,
I'm gonna say that again. I love what I do. I don't believe it's just a job. It's just a check. I believe it's a calling. So I make time for it, but I just gotta know that where I'm being called is being valued. You know what I mean? But the door is gonna be open, just like how I met you. The door is always gonna be open because there's a need, there's a demand for it. People just have to come to their senses. Somebody, it might be medicine right there, but if somebody don't know they sick, they not gonna take it. You know what I
right.
mean? What they say, you can take them to the water, but you can't make them drink. You
You
might
can leave
have,
them. You could push their face down in there till they stop kicking. One of the
nah,
two.
nah, nah, nah. They ain't gonna drink. They gonna go to the upper room. What do you say on life? The upper room.
Yes.
Jesus. Yeah, that's my favorite part. But anyway, um,
Now you're
so
gonna make me want to watch a movie, but okay.
that's my favorite part. But seriously, like we sometimes have the tools around us and we don't always know how to tap into them. I
Hmm.
believe, and I'm not. I'll be honest. I'm a little biased and partial. I love our people, but I love all people because we're all God's children, right? But I believe that the same black men that have such the bad stigma, we so resilient as well. I feel like, we can do anything and achieve anything. But we first got to believe that, that we actually can do this. And I also believe that our families can survive more. I also believe that our communities can thrive more. But it really just starts with your mind. It starts with your mental. Like, somebody can have all the potential in the world, but if it's not clicking up here, you know, if their heart is wrong and not right, then everything else will fall downhill. So
The the young man I was talking to Monday was saying his thought process was that we can reach if we can reach the kids first, start there and then go forward, it might be easier than getting to the men because the thought process has already been formed.
I believe there's some truth to that. I'll tell you both sides as a therapist. So with a child, they're more impressionable.
Hmm.
Um, so they're more open to hearing what you have to say and learning from you. So it is easier to get them before their mind is made up and they're stubborn. I agree with that. I'm sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, I know
Can you hear
your
me?
location. Yeah, your location is not. Yeah.
You can hear me?
Yep.
I can't hear you. Can you say something?
My mic is showing that it's working. Yours is working.
I'm gonna try to go out and come back in.
Okay.
I can't hear you, and I need to hear you. Hold on, sorry.
Technical difficulties on a live.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yep.
Sorry about that. So, um, okay. What's the last thing you heard me say about the boys, right?
Yep. That they
Okay.
were young.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the best way to be able to get them before they're set in their ways. But on the other side, they 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 don't know the impact of not listening to what you say. So they have two options. You know, on the Matrix, the red pill, the blue pill. They
Hmm.
have two options. They can take your advice or they can find their own way. It's better that they have the option to take your advice, but they don't know. A grown man, he has almost like, for lack of better words, like the prodigal son. He's probably come to the end of himself. So now he's all ears, he's all eyes. He wants to hear, okay, what is it that what is it that I'm doing wrong? What is it that I didn't learn that I need to know now? So you can reach a lot of the kids and they will hopefully listen to your advice. Hopefully they'll choose the right pill. But if it's a man who's grown, it's not necessarily too late for him. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
No, what are your
Because
thoughts?
I think for the men, if they see options without being judged, that they'll pick what fits best for them. But it's kind of like he was saying that sometimes it's hard to fix broke because not everybody wants to be fixed.
Mm-hmm.
So I went from fixed to help because fixed, you really sound broken and you can't be put back together. So it's like maybe it's more, like we said, the learned behavior of not wanting to help because you got it.
Well, there's one thing called pride that
Hmm.
could be there. There's denial that could be there. And everybody might have their own level of pride or denial. That's not unknown. But what I want to say is that we've all experienced a level of brokenness because we've all experienced some trauma. We've all had to have something we healed from. As long as we are alive, we're not too broken to be fixed. We're
Mhm.
not too messed up to be healed. And that's regardless of what your faith is. I'm not over spiritualizing it. I'm saying humanly, if we take like if we take it seriously, But I always tell my clients, therapy is not just the time you're in a session with me. 80% of the work is done outside of the session. 20% is done in the session. But if you don't leave the session and you really think about what we talked about and you try to apply it and you do your homework and you really try to unpack what's going on, then you're really going to be stuck in the same place. It's almost like a broke clock, ain't nothing going to change. So,
I was going somewhere with that. I did this the other day. I was like, I totally forgot where I was going because it made sense. But there's got to be, when we can't help the, the pride part. That's what I'm looking for. The pride part is that where we're losing the athletes. Is- I was thinking about that because you're in the spotlight. You are, you know, you're there, and you don't want to ask for help.
okay. So I'm going to try to put myself in their shoes. Now, I've never been a multi-million dollar athlete, right?
Hmm.
But let me just tell a story, right? All right. So little James, he grew up in a rough neighborhood. He didn't have a lot of role models, but he was gifted, God gifted talent, right? He was an amazing football player. And once they realized he was an amazing football player, he was praised for his football. He was always worshiped for his skill. And as he goes through school, even though he's, maybe poor, doesn't have much resources, as he's going through school, he's gratified through his talent. And so as he gets older, he realizes, okay, my gift could really possibly take me to, stardom one day. Now he's getting signed big contracts. He's able to buy stuff for his family. Everybody that comes to him is in need. Nobody really is coming to him to help him. And if they are, they usually probably, are expecting something in return. These people have, for lack of better words, sometimes become gods, like little idols, because been able to provide for themselves and people around them something that nobody else had experienced, a different type of quality of life. I believe somebody in that position has to really be grounded and anchored. You have to have a lot of people that's close to you that you listen to more than you listen to your ego, because in their positions, they're so powerful. You know what I mean? Like, they literally can pay for anything they need. They don't need anything or anyone for anybody, but the groundingness will keep them from forgetting who they are, forgetting that their mental health is still important. And just because they're at the top doesn't mean that they will always be at the top. And to stay humble, it's almost like a humble course. I don't really try to judge them because I've realized that us that haven't walked in their shoes don't understand that the pressure is a little different for them because they feel like they the answer to everybody's problems, but at the same time, they don't know how to answer their own problems. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because we all don't know what's going on. Never, but I was just wondering, is that added like pressure?
To what, like a star athlete or something like that?
Hmm. Hmm.
I mean, again, me putting myself in their shoes, I would feel like you having it seem like you got it all together. Um, I would feel like that would really that would really put a lot of pressure on you. That would really make you feel like you got to put up a facade. Now, if you act like you're losing it, then you could lose everything. So it's
Yeah.
like, unless somebody they got the right person, I said be anchored, have the right person to say, hey, come to church with me. Hey, let's pray together. Hey, have you been reading your word? Hey, talk to me about this. Hey, do you have a therapist? If you don't have nobody close enough to you to hold you accountable at that level, and this is for anybody, but we just happen to be talking about athletes because you brought up athletes. If you
Hmm.
don't have anybody to kind of hold you accountable and put you in that direction, then yeah.
Yeah, I picked. Well, I chose athletes because that's what we're seeing right now.
Mm-hmm.
In the with a little bit of news I do pay attention to, that seems to be what's popping up. If I was hesitant about going to a therapist, what would you say to have somebody come in to see you?
So you got to learn my motto. I'm gonna say it once. I'm gonna say it twice, but the third time I want to hear you say it, so I know you got it. My motto is come with confidence and leave with joy. I'm gonna say it one more time. Come with confidence and leave with joy. So let me hear you say it.
So we're coming with confidence and leaving with joy.
Yes. So you got to be confident enough to try.
Mm-hmm.
Confident enough to say I'm gonna try something that maybe I tried before and it didn't work, or I never tried before, or I'm trying something that might be frowned upon. Like you're trying, you got to be confident enough to try. You're leaving with joy because joy is not meaning that everything in your circumstance and situation is perfect. But what can make you joyful in the same situation that can make somebody else sad is your what? What separates those two people?
I just drew a blank.
All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Perspective, mindset. That's what literally changes you from leaving with sadness and leaving with joy. Your perspective. That comes from your mental health. Your mental health affects your perspective. That's why some people can see it half empty and some people can see it half full. It's mental health. And so you are confident enough to come, but then you leave with joy because your perspective has changed. And
Mm-hmm.
that's really our biggest thing. And sometimes it's not that our situation is the worst in the world, but sometimes we're looking at it wrong. And sometimes the people around us, they're not equipped to be able to really help us fix our mindset and our perspective. I mean, we go to them because they're our friends and our family, but going to a therapist is a whole different thing. They don't have a bias about you. You know what I mean? They're meeting you in this setting. So it's a safer space. You don't gotta worry about your dirty laundry being aired in the street. You know what I mean? So
It was referred to as finding a therapist as dating, like dating. You
mhm.
had to, one person said that no, that the one that him and his wife found was, they found it was fine. And the other lady was saying that she had to go through three of them before she found the one that fit her. And she said she could see how it would be viewed as dating. Have
I
you run into that?
I I agree. I agree because like dating, like going to a job, you want your therapist to be able to understand you and speak to you in a special place. One of the things I hear about needing black male therapists is because a lot of people feel like the people can't really relate to them. If
Mm-hmm.
somebody can't relate to you, they can't connect with your experience. So they need to be able to put themselves in your shoes. They need to be able to say they can feel what you feel and not just say it, but it's real. And you need to be able to feel that. If I'm sharing my deepest, darkest secrets and experiences with you, and it's not anything that you could connect with or relate to, there's going to be a disconnect there. So I agree with the dating, way of looking at it. It's kind of like, can you feel me? Can you see me? You don't just want somebody to just listen to you. You want them to be able to feel you, relate to you, connect with you. So does that make sense?
Yes, because that too was a part of the question. Do you want your therapist to be like you, or do you want something different? So that was evenly divided, because the look like me is to relate to me. The not look like me is to see what I'm going through a different lens, to treat me or to
Mhm.
help me.
Yeah. So there's different sides to that. I would say be able to relate to you, but not necessarily be on the same mindset of you. They have to be of a different mindset to help give you a different mindset. So if you're pessimistic and your therapist is pessimistic, then you know what I mean. They got to be able to give you a different perspective or multiple different perspectives than the one that you naturally have already, because that's what you go to therapy for, to be able to, you know, how you think, but to be able to see other sides of it.
That's that's why I say I'm glad you're on here because then you can tell us what you know what to look for. Not really what to look for, but what you do when somebody comes in. So, like you said, that we have to have that confidence piece.
So just like dating, you get to know people, you ask questions, and you can even share some stuff about yourself. Um, and everybody does different things, but I like to be very down to earth and relatable because that's who I am naturally. So I don't figure that I should try to be anybody different when I'm in a setting, just because we're in an office,
Mm-hmm.
excuse me, or we're in a setting. I should be somebody different than who I am. Who I am naturally is I want to get to know you. That's if I'm in the subway, on a train, on walking in the park. I'm a let's get to know you person. So getting to know you, but then it's a deeper level because now I want to get to know you. I want to get to know who you came from because there's a lot of stuff that we deal with that's not just stuff we dealt with. Our parents dealt with it. Our grandparents dealt with it. Our great grandparents dealt with it. So once I get to know you, now let me go to the next level. Then let me go to the next level. We'd be surprised how many things we dealt with that our family members also dealt with before. Some of them we didn't even meet, but we got some of the same struggles. So that's stuff that's been passed down. So I'm getting to know you and your whole bloodline. That's
Mm-hmm.
that's how I do my therapy.
So, see, you answered my next question, but I'm still going to put it out there so they can see it.
See,
So,
in the future. I'm in the future.
you can honestly say that you cannot help someone in one session.
Can you rephrase that?
So, like, if I come in and I go, I'm going to see my therapist, AJ, and here's everything that's wrong. Here's what I'm dealing with. I need you to fix this in 59 minutes.
They want a microwave healing. They
Yeah.
want those. They want one of those. Go to the altar and I just bop. This bop. You good? You straight?
It's kind of
Um,
like joining Weight Watchers. You go one week and the next week you drop a pound and then you think you're successful and you go.
50 pounds in one session.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, no, that's smoking crack. That's what that is. You ain't just dropping weight like that in one session. But no, honestly, it's it's
It's the
every
people that want that instant fix.
yeah, every session is gonna help you. Even the sessions that you don't like what you hearing. But it's a marathon though. Like you go one session and you come, you make progress because you've learned some stuff about yourself or seen something from your bloodline. But that's just the beginning. Like you need to be in it for, you know, months to years before you're really okay. I see myself from because you've been doing things your own way for 30, 40, 50 years. You're not going to come into one session and just poof. Like it's a process. You got to be, but they say trust the process.
And this is my disclaimer. I'm not saying it's right, wrong, or indifferent. I'm
Mm-hmm.
just saying for my own personal, when I talked to one of my friends at work, they said they know someone that's been going for 10 years
Mm-hmm.
to a therapist. And, she kind of laughed and I was like, I'm just puzzled because, 10 years. And she said, well, they must have a whole lot to unload. And I'm going, I don't know. So 10 years, does that seem like
So
a minute?
I feel like there are two different kind of people. They're the kind of person that says, I like to keep my gas tank on full because I know I need gas to go where I gotta go. And they're the kind of people that say, I'm putting just enough in there to get where I gotta go. And every now and then they on E because they had to make a couple more stops than they thought they needed to make. Going to therapy does not mean that you're in a crisis, but it's helpful if you go through a crisis to already be in therapy. So it can be proactive, it can be preventative, but it can also be in response to a crisis. I don't believe that there's anything wrong with going to therapy when you don't have a major issue in your life. I believe people tell themselves, I don't need therapy because my life isn't that bad. But that's also the gas tank mentality where it's like, I want to make sure I go if there's a crisis. But if you're going regularly, first of all, if your therapist has integrity, they'll say, you're doing good. I can see you less. So I don't need to see you every week because you're not really, you're not in a bad situation. But somebody going consistently is like routine. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
We wake up, we brush our teeth every day. You know what I mean? Some of us go to church every Sunday or every once or twice a week. We do certain things that are routine to keep ourselves healthy. It's the same with our mind. We exercise every day or every other day. We run every day or every other day. Therapy shouldn't be looked at as something that you only do when you're in a crisis, or if you're crazy, or if you have a million things of trauma you got to get off your chest. Now, some people do need it more than others. I'm not going to lie to you. Some people, it's like, you need to see me every 2 days until you get your stuff together and take your meds as prescribed. But some people, it's like, okay, you're human. Like going through life, you're going to experience stuff that's going to make you, yeah. So,
You said something that had me going, hmm. So therapists provide medication?
so we don't provide medication. We will refer you to someone who
Okay,
does management. Yeah.
gotcha. So if the Wellbutrin and the Zoloft combo cocktail's not working, then they got to go adjust that.
Yeah, we're gonna send you for some a med adjustment because something ain't right.
Not if you see it every 2 days or something. No, no, yeah, no. What would you tell the younger AJ about mental health?
I would tell the younger AJ that mental health is one of your most quality investments. Most times we say we don't have time to deal with X, Y, and Z because we're going through A, B, C, and we got our priorities. But having your mental health right will allow you to make better decisions, which will avoid you from being in more stressful situations. So we push the mental health off to say we don't got time for that. But meanwhile, we either suffering or we're miserable or we're trudging through storms. We're making poor decisions because we're not healthy. And we don't even realize that, okay, let me stop, try to get my mind right, and then at least if I'm going through stuff, I'm going through it with a more sober, sound mind and making better decisions. Does that make sense?
hmm That's why I asked, what would you tell the younger you?
hmm I would tell them make investing in your mental health your number one priority.
Woo, we,
What's that?
we digging deep. We digging deep. We digging deep. Hmm. What's your next event?
Well, I don't. I got to look at my calendar. I know the last thing I did was a relationship panel, and I did that at
hmm
the Y. And it was good because I was able to talk to some youth because you just got done talking to younger people. And younger people, they engaging in serious relationships. They probably more than anybody else needs to be getting feedback from actual therapists about like what things to look for, what things to do, not do, and stuff like that. And so I enjoyed it thoroughly because it's you need to know whether you're an adult or you're a teenager. You need to know, okay, this is healthy and this is not healthy. This is a green flag. This is a red flag. Because everybody's a therapist now, so everybody got their red flags. This is a red flag. You a red flag trying to tell people what a red flag is.
Yeah,
So
and you ain't even got a degree. Don't run around telling people what a red
yeah,
flag is.
everybody's qualified. Everybody diagnosing. Everybody telling people who's a narcissist and what's this and what's that. I'm like, okay, let me see it. Let me see your
How
certificate.
long has that word been in effect? Because it seemed like it kind of took legs during COVID.
I feel like during COVID, everybody got a microphone and said we just qualified to talk about everything publicly. I feel like we can't go into a hospital and just start operating on people because we think we played the
Mm-hmm.
operation game a couple times. You know, that little operation game where you touch the side and the button go off. I feel like that's people feel like they can just become therapists and they can become psychologists overnight just because they read some stuff and had some conversations that made sense to them. Um, so yeah, like respect the craft. You wouldn't do that as a surgeon. You wouldn't do that as a mechanic. Don't do it as a mental health
As
professional.
that took, yeah, as whatever it is that you.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was like, because I don't, like you said, I don't get on here and tell you what you need to do. I'm just providing people's own stories, yada yada yada. I'm not telling you that you need to go out or but I do make sure, just like I do the kids, if you say something on here that has my antennas going up, that I think I might need to call 911, I'm gonna call them and say, look, I'm on live. You need to find this person, but I'm not gonna tell you what to do and not to do. That's not what we're here for.
not what we're here for.
We're here to help others, not. I know I need help.
We all do. It's just some people need more than others. Some people need more than others, and some people are
Woo.
more open to it than others. But we all need some level of pulling up. We're supposed to improve every day. So
Before the lovely people cut the lights out on you, where can people find you?
okay, so I'm on Instagram. My name is AJ underscore follow God first underscore, and that's FOLLOWGOD number one ST underscore. It's not the word first. It's number one. So AJ underscore follow God first. Also have a counseling page, therapy page. It's called Hicks Counseling. Um, and also, um, I can be reached by email if somebody's interested in therapy. They can
Mhm.
email us at hickstherapy@gmail.com. So those are at least three ways you can reach me. Find me online on Instagram. I'm also, I think I have a TikTok too. It's the same name, AJ underscore follow God first. So, yeah, I would just encourage people to, try me out. What they say is like dating. Try me out, try us out, see how you feel. Come with confidence, leave with joy.
Do you have is is your therapy sessions all in person, or is
Okay,
it
so
mixed?
I do virtual, and then
Mhm.
sometimes people there are people that want to meet in person, so I make that happen too. But I'm just open to what's best for the person. Some people are more comfortable with virtual. Some people are more comfortable with meeting. So whatever works for the people. Just ultimately want to make it happen, and want people to understand that it starts when you start. It doesn't start. People would leave my information on their dresser for weeks. It's like it starts when you start. So
Mhm. Just
yeah.
like any journey, you just gotta, I always say once I hit a wall, then I know and I try not to hit walls too often before I decide that I need to do something. But most of the time I'll hit the wall and then go, okay, I'm ready.
Usually we got to bump our head a couple times before we before we give it in. So
Yeah. Yeah, just a couple.
just put some ice on it. Just put some ice
Yes,
on
ouch, ouch. Yeah,
it.
owie.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because I see it's 7:50, so I don't want them to come and
Well, I
wait.
told you we could do a part two, part three. It don't
Oh
matter.
yeah, that's what.
I got a
Yeah, we
lot of
already talked
information.
about that.
Yeah, I got a
So
lot of information to
I
give.
will I'll send you. I redid all the way through April, like I was telling you earlier today. So it's already set up all the way through April, but I hadn't sent it out. So I'll send it to you so you can see what works for you.
Okay, no problem. And please,
And
like,
as I get my schedule from Old Navy, I adjust the times during the week also. So it's always changing. I mean, the availability is starting to open up.
okay, well, just let the people know. You met me in person, so this is just a online personification that I am online who I am in person, and I just pray everybody gets the connections they need. So
We did meet in person. We worked on a panel together, which was, I had fun, but that we got to chuckle in there for a little bit. We had to, rein ourselves back in, but yeah, that was a good one. She hadn't done that in a while either.
yeah, yeah. So let's just say, man, part two, part whatever is always going to be more and more exciting. But I'm grateful for anybody that is brave enough to try to dig deep and see how they can better themselves. That can actually, I know y'all take time for y'all physical self care. Make sure y'all take time for your mental self care too. So
I can't say that right now. I done cancel, reschedule all kinds of doctor's appointments. Say, oops.
I'm just saying.
He's like, you can't come today. No, all right, don't work. So yeah, I get it. I get it.
But thank
Yes,
you for
part
having
two,
me.
part three, part whatever he wants to do will be done.
Thank you for having me. I hope all the viewers was able to gain something from it the first time.
I did. I got the motto, and we need to come with confidence and leave with joy.
There we go. There we
See?
go. You got it. Spread the word.
Yay. We're going to spread the word, and I will send you the link so you will have it for your own personal use.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome, friend. I'll talk to you soon. Safe travels home.
All right. God bless. All right.